That's correct.
Excellent day. Okay. Welcome,
Man
everybody.
of few words, quick back.
Quick words, what?
Man of few words, quick back.
Ah, gotcha.
I've seen you walk, Ops. That's not true.
That's what's in character. Now hang on.
Oh, I understand.
Alright, Elm Breeze. So let's put you on the spot here. Since you are a wood elf, what is the name of the tribe of elves you belong to?
Farlongs.
The Farlongs?
Yes. They're a race of wood elves from times past. There's not too many of us left. I was found by a druid and raised. Lived in a cave all my life. When the druid went to the glade and didn't return, I took my studies up, living in a cave by myself as a hermit and everything and I'm now out because there's been a blight put on the grove of trees that I'm tasked with to protect.
Excellent. Alright, and then Josh here, he's playing a human monk. So, Helmos, tell us a little bit about your training. Did you train in a monastery, or where did you train at?
Well, I trained in the monastery, and I was sent out. Sorry about that. I was talking to my wife. And I was sent out per my master's orders to search the land to find the center of all things, and it led me out into the wilderness where I spent many contemplating mind, and after returning to him with the answer that I had found for myself, sent me into the human cities to actually see what humanity had gotten itself into.
Alright. And I would ask for Truman to say something, but we could be waiting 10 minutes for him to type something out, so. He's a mute. He likes to run. He doesn't like to involve himself too much when things start turning dirty. Alright, Mr. Elmbreeze. You find yourself outside of a large, well, it's not a large city. It's a town. It's just under a population of 2,000. The name of the city is called Loudwater. And you're hearing reports that there are some extremely large animals and bugs that have been harming the nearby woods. The name of the woods is Dantum Woods. You've also heard word through the trees whispering through the leaves. The higher-up druids are calling on you to investigate and to put a team together. Along the town of Loudwater is a large river called Dantum River that runs north-south. And you find yourself sitting on the east bank of the river. There's a bridge that spans across with a shack on each side, and there are guards from a merchant guild that are collecting taxes and tolls for anyone passing over the bridge. And there is a road that does lead north from the bridge up into the Danton Woods area, where there's a bunch of loggers and whatnot. You find there are quite a few people in line waiting to pay their tolls. You also do see a human that's just a little over 6 foot tall, right around 200 pounds, and he's also carrying about a big quarterstaff. You see him standing next to a tree, not in line with everyone else, but under the shade of a tree. It's a pretty warm autumn day in Helmos, by the way. And then also, you notice over on this side of the river, down by the riverbank, he's kind of sprawled out along the river. Looks like he's just relaxing, taking everything in. You see a human dressed in some leathers. And he stands about 5.5 feet tall, maybe around 150 pounds, with some really dark looking clothing. He looks pretty seedy. Looks like he's over there watching everybody come and go. Enter Ghost.
Okay. Am I supposed to pull everything together? You know, I won't do that because I'm a hermit.
I'm the DM. I throw y'all out there, and let's see how y'all interact. Oh, really? Well, I don't know what you missed. Jeez. Gonna make me say all that again? Not happening.
I can recap it if needed.
I'm not sure where he left out. What did you hear and what... So I know what you missed out on, Truman. It's so lovely.
I can give the short and sweet if he wants it.
Go ahead. I'll let you do this short and sweet.
All right, so we're at the city of Loudwater, and Elm Breeze was hearing about trouble with animals in the Danton Woods, and we were standing by the Danton River, runs north to south on the east side. I'm underneath a tree. You're laying in the grass. And the merchant guards are collecting taxes for people who cross the bridge.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Good job.
Thank you.
Well, let's see. I was a hermit, so it's communicating with humans and everything like that. It's hard for me to do. So the spirits and the wind tell me that I'm supposed to put a group together. So what I'm doing is I'll sit and watch and meditate and see what other actions the people around me take and see what manner of person that they are, and then I will know if I'm supposed to select them or not.
Okay. So anyhow, so you're meditating while, I guess there's some bushes. You're up on like a boulder that kind of sits next to the road there, meditating. While Helmos is leaning up underneath a tree for some shade, and Ghost is sprawled out near the riverbank, keeping an eye on everybody, probably looking for targets. And anyhow, there's a line. Currently, you see at the guard, you see a couple merchants that actually have 3 camels laden with a bunch of goods, and looks like they're arguing and trying to persuade the guards to let them through for free, and the guards not having it. After some time of them haggling back and forth, the one of the head merchants digs into his coin purse and pulls out a handful of coins and puts it in the guard's hands. As he does so, it doesn't look like he appears to notice, but he does drop a few coins on the ground. And after that, the guard waves the merchant with the 3 camels through. And the guard, seeing that there is no one else looking to pass over the bridge, he heads over into the shack and sits down on a stool that has an open door that looks out towards the road where you guys are at. What would you like to do?
Okay, so the coins are still laying on the ground. What's the other people in line doing?
Actually, that was the end of the line. So the only people left besides the guard in the shack is just you, Helmos under the tree, and Ghost lying down on the bank, chilling.
Okay, I'm still watching, looking for a sign, so we'll see.
Alright, what are you doing, Helmos?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna start walking towards the guard shack to actually ask the guard if he's heard of anything inside the town that's been troubling that I can help with.
Okay, so you approach, and as you approach, the guard gets up off his stool and meets you. And anything going on in town? Like what, work?
No, like if there's been any problems, if they've had anything going on that they need people to take care of, because I'm going through the land to help out different cities per my master's orders.
Well, as a matter of fact, there was a recent gang war that happened last week in town. Everyone's on the lookout for a large individual who used to be a street boss, who was involved in the murder of another gang member. Outside of that, It's been pretty peaceful. If you're looking for work, uh, they're always looking for loggers up north in a logging camp up by Denton. Do you plan on crossing the bridge? If so, I'll have to ask for a toll.
I'm not worried about crossing the bridge at the time. Do you have any like specifics on what that gang boss looked like?
Oh yeah. Well, I've heard conflicting rumors that they thought it was a she. Then there's some people that says it was a he. Um, Descriptions range from a pretty big, bulky guy with white hair and milky white eyes. There's also descriptions that the person who did it was a redhead with freckles. She was about 5'2", 120 pounds.
So really, no one knows what he looks like.
I would guess not, because like I said, we get different descriptions.
All right, at that point, I'm just going to lean against the railing for a moment and punt.
Alright, and as you're leaning against the railing, all of a sudden you see a dragonfly kind of hovering above the river come up, and it comes right up almost to your nose, and it's about 6 inches away. It hangs there in midair for a couple seconds, and then it buzzes off towards Elm Breeze, and it kind of hovers around him for a few minutes, and then darts over towards Ghost, where it kind of buzzes around, and then it goes back to the river and starts heading upstream.
Well, that's a sign for me that I get up off the rock and move towards the guard post.
Alright, and as you approach, the guard looks over at you and looks you up and down. Are you planning on crossing the bridge, sir?
Since I'm not used to speaking humans, hand sign that I'm wanting to cross.
And he kind of just shrugs. So, can you not speak common?
It's not that I can't, I choose not to.
Well, for you, it's going to cost you 1 gold piece to cross, Mr. I Can't Talk.
As I hand sign again that I have no money. I have no need for it.
And he says, "Oh, don't have any money? Oh, okay. Well, you can cross the old-fashioned way and swim then."
Being in kin with woods and water, that I'll dive into the river.
Alright. So you dive into the water. Okay, go ahead and make an athletics skill check, please.
Alright. That's a D6, isn't it?
No, actually you click on the skills tab, find where athletics is, and then you go all the way to the right of that, and then there's a box with a gray D20 next to that skill. Drag it and drop it on the dice tower in the bottom right hand corner. Okay. So you dive in and find that the river is quite swift, and you're having a hard time against the current trying to cross. Do you want to keep trying to fight your way across the current, or do you want to swim back to shore?
No, I'll keep trying.
Alright, go ahead and make another check. Alright. You start swimming off against the current again, and you don't make it very far. Swim out about 10 feet. The river's about 200 yards across. You swim out, well, probably about 20 yards, and it just gets to where it's getting to be too much for you, and you're starting to feel exhausted. And at this point, you have 1 level of exhaustion.
And I see this happen.
Yeah, he dived off right next to you while you were up there.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start getting out my rope and see if I.
Okay. So at this point, Doug, or Elm Breeze, with 1 level of exhaustion, you now have disadvantage on any skill checks. Just so you know.
Wookie.
Alright, what are you doing, Ghost? As we wait to find out what Truman is doing. Alright. So you see Ghost get up and walk over and start picking up the coins that were dropped. You find 3 gold pieces, which I added to your inventory. And at this point, while you're doing that, Helmos, you said you were getting your rope out?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so are you dangling it over the river into the water, or what?
Well, I haven't got to try to lasso him, but we'll see how that goes.
You're gonna try and lasso him?
If it looks like he's struggling, yes, I am.
Okay, it doesn't look like he's struggling yet.
Alright, then we'll just drop it over the side, so if he wants to take it, take it. And I'll actually call out to him, like, can I tell that he's a wood elf?
He looks elven. And he's got that dark complexion like a wood elf does.
Alright, so I'll look at him and I'll be like, if you're struggling too much, here's a rope to help you get back up.
So what are you doing, Doug?
I'll accept, as an act of kindness, I'll accept. It's like a sign. I look at it as a sign.
Alright, so you grab on to the rope.
I'll help pull it up.
Okay. So you're helping him pull him back to shore, and Ghost, you're going to pay the guard to cross. And he looks you up and down, and he really looks at you suspiciously. And he says, "Looks like you've done quite well in these lands. It's going to be 2 gold pieces." He's standing to the left of the shack. Alright. Oh, okay. We'll go ahead and do a strength contest. So go ahead and make an athletics check to see if you beat his score. Oh, holy crap. Okay, so you grab him out of a blink of an eye, and he was not expecting it, and you push him over the railing, and he falls into the water with a loud splash. With that loud splash, and he starts yelling and screaming. Across the way on the other side of the bridge, you see another guard over that way. He quickly spins about, looks and sees the other guard in the water, and he whips out a crossbow, and he starts hitting your way with it, the crossbow aimed in your guys' direction. Okay, so that's going on. Alright, so at this point, Elm Breeze, you're now out of the water. Helmos, you help pull him out. You guys hear some commotion behind you as you see the guard is in the water, trying to swim back to shore. He looks very red in the face, yelling some obscenities. What are you guys doing? Oh, and of course you also see Ghost up behind you there, smiling and waving at something across the bridge.
Is there a way I can get my rope to the guard?
Yeah, at this point, the river is washing him down towards where your rope is. So he grabs a hold of it, and he's trying to swim / pull on the rope to get out.
Okay, I'm going to start trying to help him up as well.
Okay. So that's what you're doing. What are you doing, Elm Breeze?
Alright, hang on there. Let me see what I want to do here. Well, I'll help with the rope. I'm good natured. I'll help pull too.
Okay. Alright, so while you guys are doing that, you hear some commotion from across the bridge as you see another guardsman with a crossbow aimed at Ghost as he's running forward. It says, "You, halt!" And at that point, what are you doing now, Ghost, now that you smiled and waved? And you see the other guard from across coming towards you?
Yeah, I bet.
He's gonna run! Okay. So you're diving over the bridge into the water. Okay. Go ahead and give me an athletics check in the dice tower, please. Alright, you dive in gracefully and start swimming. Are you going to be swimming across the river, down the river, upstream? Okay. So you make it quite a ways. You're now about halfway across the river. And that one guard with the crossbow bolt, he's going to go ahead and let off a bolt at you. I see he rolled an 18. So your AC is 15. That means he's going to hit. As a bolt shoots out and strikes the back arm, your back right arm, for 4 points of damage. They're like, that'll teach you to cause trouble, you stupid ruffian. And with that, he starts heading back over to his side of the bridge. And with that, Helmos and Elmbreeze, you guys finally help bring the other guard back in as he's dripping wet, and he thanks you. Thank you, thank you. Damn punk over there throwing me over like that. I don't know what caused that. Anyhow,
I have no idea. It just seems like that type of person.
Yeah. Definitely. If I ever see him again, I'm gonna give him a crossbow bolt myself. Anyhow, as a gesture of my appreciation, if you guys need a cross, the toll is free for you for today.
Thank you. And then I'll cross.
Okay.
I'll follow. I'll bow to the guard and continue behind the monk.
Alright, and where are you heading, Helmos? You're crossing the bridge?
Yeah, I'm going to head across the bridge.
Okay. Alright, back to Ghost. Go ahead and give me another athletics check. See if you make it the other half of the way across. Ooh, you start struggling, and the river is starting to carry you downstream now. You're now on the southern side of the bridge. Up, you can look up top and you see the monk and the elf crossing the bridge now. And of course, you two, you guys see that thief leaf figure who threw the guard over. You see him floundering around in the middle of the river, being washed downstream.
Alright, as he's headed to us, can I throw my rope over to him as well?
Sure.
I make it 3 for 3.
Alright. So you drop the rope down, and what are you doing with that, Ghost?
I help with the rope also, and once he grabs hold, I'll help pull it. Because even bad creatures need help every once in a while.
Alrighty. Alright, Ghost, so you grab on to the rope. Now you guys are basically right in the middle of the bridge, so are you going to continue across the bridge, pulling him that way, or are you going to try and pull him, hold it so he can climb all the way up, or what?
Good question. Well, I'm going to try to just pull him up, because I have no beef with the guards. I really don't care. I'm just trying to save his life.
Alright. So, Ghost, are you going to climb up the rope then? Alright, give me an athletics check. And you guys also notice it looks like he's got a bolt sticking out of his backside of his arm. But even with that, you see him pulling himself up the rope as he climbs up skillfully. And he finally makes it up on top of the bridge there.
I'm going to turn that Elm Breeze and thank him for his help. And I'm going to turn Ghost and ask him if he needs help with his wounds.
Well, I'm going to thank Helmos, and I am going to, with my druid knowledge, I'm going to help with the wound.
Okay, and how are you going about helping with the wound?
Well, I'm going to bind it. I'm not going to waste my one spell of curing wounds here.
Okay, so you're just gonna use some like herbs and stuff and stuff in his wound?
Yeah, out of my pouch. I've got herbologists.
Alright, and so are you going to leave the bolt in or pull it out?
No, we had to remove the bolt.
Okay. So are you pulling it out then?
Yes, I'm going to attempt to remove it.
Alright. Go ahead and give me a medicine skill check in the dice tower, please. Alright, you gently and yet skillfully are able to pull the bolt out and stuff his wound with some herbs and poultices, and the bleeding stops, and you do cure him of 1 hit point of damage. Now you see the one guard that shot at Ghost. He looks down at you guys. He says, "Come on, cross over." He says, that individual, he paid his price with the bolt. Of course, I better not see you ever around here causing trouble again, or the next bolt will be in a different location.
And with that, I'm going to make my way across the rest of the bridge.
Me too. I signal to the other two to once that we cross, and there's a nice field of grass, and I motion for them to sit down and commence to tell them the story and what I've heard on the wind.
Okay, yeah, once you cross the bridge, you see a road that runs north-south, and you can see off in the distance to the north, you see a large town with a haze hovering above it with different smoke, and you can smell the smells of the city from here. Not too far from that bridge, you do find a nice grassy field with some trees. Looks like a nice, inviting place to talk to everyone.
You know, I say I tell them about the story about what's been coming through to me from that the druids have called me into the woods because of the evil things that's going on, and I ask them for their help. I'm going to set up camp while I'm there too. I think it's a nice place to before I go into the town.
Okay. And what is Helmos and Ghost doing?
Well, I'm going to sit there and ponder for a moment about his request to see if that lines up with the orders that were given. Watch him make the king.
Okay. And what about you, Ghost? What are you doing? While he's typing that out, I'm going to go AFK for just a minute. Okay. He's keeping an eye on the guards, imagining the different things he can do. And so, and how are you responding to what Elmbreeze told you? I'll be right back. AFK for just a minute.
So, Thief, will you be going with us? See if there's a profit in it?
I don't think the thief is listening to you.
He nods. Yeah, there we go. Anytime there might be a profit in it with Thief. Well, what do you think? Should we head for the town, or should we head straight to the woods?
Know what we're after?
Well, I'm after some hurting the woods because the druids have sent a cry for help to me.
Alright, I'm back.
Well, I'm ready to move on you are, or just something I need to pick up in the town.
What's that about town?
Sorry, I was talking to Elm Breeze.
Oh, okay.
Well, I get all my stuff on the go from nature, so I mean, it's if you guys need anything, I don't see any reason why I should have to go into a town full of humans. I don't like that. But I will tolerate it if you guys need to stop in.
I do not.
What about you, Thief? So can we bypass the town there, DM?
You can do anything you want. No railroad here. Complete sandbox.
Well, my mission is to respond to the Druid's call.
Yep. And speaking of which, since you've been playing true to your character quite well so far, I'm awarding you an inspiration point.
Woohoo!
Actually, let me give all three of you guys. You guys have been playing quite well so far. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna break camp and start for the woods.
Okay. Now, you do know that the woods are back across the other side where you currently were at to the north. So that means
Yes,
you're
I-
going to have to cross back across the bridge again. Or swim across.
I will walk across.
Okay.
I watched 2 people fail in that attempt.
Well, can we cruise down the riverbank looking for a ford farther on up?
You sure can.
That is fine.
That's what I suggest.
Alright.
I will just go ahead and fall in line with that.
So you're going to follow the river along the bank to the north?
If that's towards forest on the other side, yes.
Yeah. Now, by doing so, it looks like you're going to have to briefly go through a part of the town up ahead. As it looks like there's some docks on that side of the river up north.
Okay. What do you think, Thief? You going with us? We'll walk that way. What time of day is it?
It's currently in the afternoon, probably mid-afternoon right now. Okay, so you guys are going to be walking along the bank, going north, and you're going to be passing briefly through town as you do so, looking for a way to cross up ahead. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So it takes you probably about 5-10 minutes real quick to break camp back down. You probably grab some rations for the day and eat while you're breaking down and getting ready to go. And you head off along the bank going to the north. The town's not too far away. It's probably only about half a mile down the along the river here. As you get closer, you start hearing the sounds of the town. You hear people yelling and hear banging. Hear some construction sounds. You also hear the sounds of axes and logs up ahead, which you guys do realize they have a big logging mill in this town. That's their biggest income that they have is from felling trees, and then they process them here in town. And of course, as you guys get closer, you start smelling the odors of civilization. You hear the smoke. You smell stuff cooking, fresh baked bread, but you also smell the smell of urine and feces, especially here along the river, where the humans of the town, or the residents, usually just dump it into the river. And you make your way through town when you finally get there, passing along a couple docks. There's varying ships and boats here. Some fishermen are unloading their stock of fish. And there's a bunch of loggers that are collecting logs that have floated down from the river from upstream. And of course, there's a bunch of odd folk looking about, hanging back in the shadows, keeping an eye on everything. And you briefly wander along that road there when it ends, and you continue along the riverbank. You probably travel another half hour or so past town, and you start seeing more logs floating down the river. And you see a point probably about a mile upstream here where it looks like there might be some type of so there's a bunch of big boulders that kind of go all the way across the river. It looks like right in the middle, it's probably about a 12-foot gap in between boulders that go across the river, where a lot of the logs pass through. And you see a couple people over there that are with some sticks and whatnot, their pikes, guiding the logs through that narrow channel. Or you can continue north.
I have to take a break and get down and cry. I start to cry because all the destruction to nature that's been the city, to the water, to the trees. It's just hard for me to take.
Alright, and how are you guys reacting, Helmos and Ghost, to Elm Breeze?
I'm just going to pat him on the shoulder, and then I'm going to go into contemplation of what this area would have looked like when everything was pure.
Yeah, from looking around, you can see a bunch of old tree stumps all about on both sides of the banks. Looks like the forest used to extend quite a ways down this way where you're at.
Okay. I make my offering and leave my mark, and I get up and continue on to where the boulders are.
Okay. So at this point, are you guys going to try and cross where the boulders make their way across the river, or are you going to continue north looking for a different spot to cross?
I'm going to try to cross the boulders.
Okay. So at this point, you have two skills you can use to cross the river with. That would be either athletics, or if you're nimble, you can also use your acrobatics to try and cross the bunch of boulders there. Alright. Anyhow, you guys see Ghost start bounding his way across. Just so you know, Ghost, next time roll in the dice tower on skill checks, please. Okay. Anyhow, you see Ghost bound across. He makes it look super easy. And you make it to the halfway point where there's a gap of about 12 feet in between you and the next boulder. Okay, and then Elm Breeze, you make it across as well. So you're in the middle. And also Helmos, you guys make it across. Okay, so you guys are all standing on a pretty good sized boulder in the middle of the river. And the next boulder over is about 12 feet across. How do you want to make your way over to... There's also some guys standing on the boulder that you're at with some pikes guiding some logs through, and there's another guy on the other side as well. Good afternoon.
So this area right here is clogged with logs that we can just walk across.
If there's a bunch of logs sitting there, they're guiding some through, but it's not. There's not a bunch of logs all the way across, so you can try and use the logs to cross as they come as they're guided in between the boulders, or you can use a different option. It's up to you guys how
I
you
will
want to
ask
cross.
the guy himself. Sorry, I'll ask the guy himself. Like, how do they get across the river besides the bridge?
Oh, that's easy. We just instead of guiding the boulder across, we'll kind of maneuver them to where they're long ways, and then we use them as they stack up against the two boulders and cross that way. You guys need to cross?
I'll ask him if he can do that.
I guess we can do that real quick. And he yells out to the other guy that you guys are wanting to cross, and you see them start using their pikes to turn the logs lengthwise across the river, and where they are blocked against the logs or against the boulders there, and say, okay, there you go.
I will thank him and start going across.
Alright, so at this point, since it's slippery and the log can move, everyone's going to need to make an acrobatics check again to make it across to the other boulder. Okay. Who's going across first?
I'll do it.
Alright, so Helmos is crossing first. Okay, you make it across. Fine. Who's next? Ghost or Elm Breeze?
I'll go.
Alright, so you're crossing, And Helmos, you're almost at, or you're right at the end when all of a sudden Elm Breeze he steps on the log and it starts spinning, and he drops down. You drop down to your knees trying to catch your balance as the log is starting to kind of spin in the water. You gonna
Alright,
crawl?
I'm gonna just quickly try to make it to the other side.
Okay. Alright, so you're across Elm Breeze. You're on the middle of the log there. Are you gonna just crawl across, or are you gonna try and stand back up, or how are you gonna go about getting across now?
I don't know, with my luck, it'd be better if I just hug the log and inch along.
Okay. Alright, so you crawl along and you finally make it there. And then Ghost comes bounding across, almost running across, making it look super easy. You guys are now back at the other boulder. And I assume from here you guys go ahead and finish using the rest of the boulders to cross the bridge.
Yep.
Alright. So you guys are getting down towards the bank. As you're approaching the bank, you see a bunch of cattails along the banks here. And off to your left-hand side, you see the cattails rustling quite violently off to the left.
Using my druid senses, do I sense anything?
Let me see here. Perception. You have the sense that there is that it might be a predator in the cattails chasing some prey. Not quite sure though. But from as much as the cattails are moving, it's something big over there in the cattails.
Can I use my animal handling skills on him?
You could if you could see whatever the creature is. Are you gonna go closer and see whatever it is?
No, I don't see a reason to.
Okay.
Let nature be nature.
Alright. What are you guys doing, Helmos and Ghost?
I'm gonna just keep an eye on it out of the corner of my eye, but I'm gonna keep on moving down to where the woods are.
Okay. Alright. So you guys finish crossing the boulders, and you're now on the shore. And you see a road that is running along the river this side. And then off in the distance, probably a few more miles to the north, you see trees. Looks like a forest or some woods up ahead. So you guys, how are you guys, or what are you guys doing at this point?
Well, the woods are my destination, so towards them until I
Yep.
get there.
Alright. So you guys start
Same,
heading.
same for me.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say same here. Head towards the woods.
Okay. Are you guys going to travel along the road or along the riverbank? There's also some wheat fields on the other side of the road.
I'm going to move along the road.
Okay.
I feel kind of naked going along the road, but I'll stay with the party. I'd rather be out in the fields and stuff so I could blend in.
All right. Stand by. Secret notes are being passed. Okay. Alright, so you guys start following the road, heading north. And you guys start, as you're getting further away from town, you start hearing the sounds of some birds singing. You see an occasional rabbit kind of skipping across the road, going down for some water. And anyhow, you travel probably for at least another hour, and you're coming up on the edge of the woods. At the edge of the woods here, you see a bunch of logs stacked up along the river. You see a bunch of trees have been cut down. A bunch of the bushes have been squashed where the logs are pushed into the river from here. You see a bunch of tents, and you hear the sounds of axes striking wood as you determine that it's a logging camp that you guys are approaching.
All right, the animals. With my druid, did I have understanding of animal language?
Yeah, you can, if you try and communicate with animals. Actually, I think that's actually a spell, though. I think they're, you can kind of get a sense of what animals are doing, but unless you use your divine ability, you can't directly speak to them.
Can I sense fear out of them, or what? Or just regular go about?
You can feel a sense of anger, fear. Yeah, pretty much that coming from the animals in the area.
I have to go to the logging camp. I gotta stop this.
And just so you know, there is a level 1 druid spell called Speak with Animals.
Okay. I'm sorry I didn't see it.
It's okay. Alright, so you're going to approach the logging camp, and I assume everyone is going with you?
Yep.
Alright. So as you enter into the camp, you see over towards the center, outside one of the bigger tents, you see a big pot that is cooking. You smell some food being cooked, and there is a line with some people getting some meal for the day. There's also a group of 3 individuals. They look kind of seedy looking, sitting right outside one of the tents. Looks like they're talking to each other using their hands. They kind of give you guys some suspicious looks, especially Ghost as he's coming through. And it looks like they throw him some signs down. So what are you guys doing at this point now?
Can Rogue understand these hand signs? Okay, is there a boss around somebody can see in charge?
You see the guy that is dishing out the food over near the fire there. Looks like he might be one in charge. He's talking and barking out orders occasionally. He's an older gentleman with gray hair. He's still built pretty good. He stands about 6 feet tall. And as you guys approach, he calls out, "Ah! Are you guys looking for work? We can use a few more loggers."
I refuse work, and I look at him and tell him that he must stop cutting down the elder grove.
Oh, whoop. What? So you're not looking for work, and I should stop cutting trees down.
That's correct. And the if you're look in the pot, is there wild animals in there being cooked?
You do look in there, and it looks like probably there's bits of rabbit in there. He's like, no, we're not going to be stopping. There's a demand for wood in the nearby city. So unless you're going to pay more for us not to cut down the trees, that ain't going to happen.
I can't stand for it. I don't want it to come to bloodshed, but I have to stop it.
Really? So what are you gonna do? Beat me with that cane of yours, old man? And you start seeing the other people online. You see them starting to head over towards where their axes and whatnot are leaning across some logs as they're reaching for it.
How many people we looking at?
There's 5 people online. Then there's the old guy, and over towards the edge of camp, probably about 20 yards away, there's those 3 lads outside of that one tent that were talking in some type of hand language.
I can't. I'll holler at everybody to freeze, not to move. And if I have to, I will draw my sword and my shield.
and they're all kind of looking at you and just shaking their heads. And they're like, so you're going to stop this entire operation, just you and your two friends?
I don't know about my two friends, but if I have to, I will.
Alright, so what is Helmos and Ghost doing?
I'm gonna apologize to the guy, and then turn to Elmbreeze and advise him that we need to talk outside the camp real quick.
Sorry, my friend, but I can't do that. It's against my nature. I have to protect it at all costs, even my life.
And the older gentleman there, he speaks up. He goes, Mr. Elf, I can understand your sympathy. You know, you're here trying to take care of the forest and everything. But if I don't deliver this wood, my family who lives in that town will go hungry. Are you going to take care of my family? And are you going to take care of the rest of these guys' families? And speaking of which, you know, if you're so if you care so much about the woods, why aren't you doing something about the ghosts? Or not the ghosts, the orcs. There's been some orcs out in the woods.
Now, Taskmaster, since you put it that way, my ideals are for the greater good. So if it means your family should survive and one of mine must perish, then that's how it shall be. So I back down.
So why would your kind perish by us chopping trees?
Because we're tied with nature. And if nature is destroyed, we die too.
Really? So if I go chop that tree down over there, as he points off towards one of the bigger trees, one of your elf kind will die.
We die a little at a time with each tree that is felled.
I guess I just don't understand, elf.
That's a pity.
Well, anyhow, if you're hungry, we have some stew here. You're more than welcome to have some.
No, I can't eat of the beasts of the field, of the wild. I'll have to break out some of my oats and herbs and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, anyhow, it was good talking to you, Elf. And he starts dishing everyone else back up some stew. And you see Ghost step up and grabs a bowl. Oh my god.
Everybody wants to kill the ghost.
Okay, so what are you doing now? And what is Helmos doing? What's the three of you doing now? I know Ghost is eating some stew.
I'm going to start asking about the orcs.
The orcs? Yeah, they've been growing increasingly in numbers lately. It's been getting pretty dangerous out here, as sometimes they'll attack some of our lumberjacks when we're out and about. They run about and they carry a banner, a black hand. A lot of people seem to think they reside further to the north, up in the woods. There's also rumors of a giant boar out and about as well. He is known as a man-eater himself. They've kind of nicknamed him Hog. Big old boar. Probably stands about 6 feet tall, up to his shoulder.
I've heard of this beast, and it's not of nature. It was made in magic and gross and mutated.
I was wondering, because, man, the reports of that pig or boar, he's a huge monster.
That might be why I've been called to the woods.
Well, I believe you could probably find signs of it further to the north. Just be wary of the orcs out there.
Orcs are the destroyer of nature. I have to hunt them.
Well, I know we'll be glad if there's not very many orcs around. We've had a lot of our number disappear due to orcs. Anyhow,
What do you say, Monk? What do you say about that? Should we hunt some more?
I say if that's we came to open the forest and killing the orcs off and finding that boar, what's going to do that? And I say that we look for them.
What about you, Rogue? Well, I guess that leads all three of us set on our mission.
Alright. And about this time, as you're talking, you feel a breeze kick up, coming out of the north, and feels like a storm approaching Elm Breeze. Probably about a day's away, but it sounds like a fierce storm brewing.
Well, is there anything else I sense of it, or just that trouble's coming?
It just sounds like a big bad, probably on its way, probably within about a day. You do notice too that you probably only got an hour or two before the sun starts setting.
Well, I want to carry on, but what's the others want to do? They want to sleep here tonight, or what?
Well, I don't see so well in the dark, so I wanted to stop for the night.
What do you want to do, thief? You want to throw dice with your friends sitting over there?
Oh, that's good.
All right, then I guess we'll stay the night.
All right. So I guess you guys are setting up camp here along with the loggers somewhere?
I'm going to move on the outskirts. I don't want to be tainted,
Okay.
and I have to do prayers and stuff.
Alright, so do you want to camp along the north of the camp? Over towards the west near the river? On the other side of the camp from the river? Or on the south side?
I'll camp over by the river. It's peaceful. Good for contemplating.
Okay. Alright, so you guys set up camp, and it looks like Ghost is going to set out and go do some drinking and playing dice. Oh, he's just gonna hang. Okay. Are you guys all staying near your little camp, or?
Yeah, I'll send you to the camp.
And I'm going to go into trance, which is a trait of mine.
Okay. And Helmos and Ghost, you guys are going to lay down and curl up with your blankets.
Yep, and head to bed.
Okay. All right. So you guys sleep through the night. Sometime during the middle of the night, Elm Breeze, as you're in your trance and meditating, you hear wolves howling up to the north, and sound like they were chasing some type of prey. Other than that, the night comes and goes without any incident. You guys wake up the next morning.
Can
Okay, go ahead.
I was going to ask, can I link with the wolves and see through their eyes what's happening?
I think there's a spell for that, but that would require more expertise than you currently have to pull that one off.
I thought animal handling would cover that. I didn't know.
No, animal handling is more of like riding a horse or calming an animal down if it's panicking, that sort of thing. Alright, so I get, so the next morning comes, you guys wake up, the sun it has come up, it's just barely up, so you see the rays of the sun as it is coming up over the horizon. You see a fog that hangs over the river, and there's a dampness and chill in the air. You see a lot of activity in the logging camp as people are getting up, getting ready, getting something to eat before heading out to do their work for the day.
I tell the other two about the. Well, I was in my trance. What I heard the night before, telling that the morning brings an ill omen.
Okay, so what would you guys like to do from here?
I would just like to break down my stuff that I have and start getting ready to head into the woods.
All right, my prayers are over, so we guess I'll continue with the group.
Alright, and what about you, Ghost? Are you there, Ghost? Or did he go ninja? I think he ninja AFK'd. Oh, there he is.
Being a ghost.
Well, you already slept. It's morning. Everyone else is doing their prayers and picking up camp.
All night. Been up dicing all night. Give him a break.
Typical thief.
Question: did he win any coins?
Okay. So yeah, you see everyone waking up, getting ready, eating, as they're getting ready to head out to do their work for the day. You see Elm, he was over praying and he's finishing up. And it looks like Helmos is finishing putting up all his camp belongings into his backpack. They're in a tent, a couple tents away. And they're over there, one of them sharpening his axe. Another one's sitting down next to the guy sharpening the axe, looking in your direction. And you hear a voice from probably the other guy in the tent. there's 3 of them. Okay, so you guys have pretty much packed up your camp, except for Ghost, who's still looking around the camp.
I'll wait for Ghost. Patience is one of my virtues.
And as you're waiting, you see the ripples of, and hear the splash of a fish. He jumped out of the water out in the river nearby. To use it in that function, you'd have to actually talk to your contact, who would be in Loudwater itself. So I guess the short answer is you haven't heard of these guys. What's Helmos doing now that you got your backpack filled? You see Ghost over there. Looks like he's staring at one of the tents with 3 guys that were throwing signals the other day.
I'm just meditating.
Okay. Alright, Ghost, so how much time are you going to be watching them? How much longer? Is there anything else you want to do? Okay, so a few minutes goes by, and you see Elm over there. He's patiently, looks like he's patiently waiting. You see Helmos over there meditating. Walk back to the camp. What camp? Your camp with the other 2, or are you gonna head in? I don't. Kind of lost on what you're doing.
Aren't we all?
Okay, so you're back to your camp, and you see the other 2 there waiting. You see all their stuff is packed and ready to go.
Well, we must proceed on with our quest, our task. Or I must. What about you, Helmos? You still with me?
I'm ready to move on.
Ghost? Alright, we head north, back up the road. Head north.
Alright, you actually notice that there isn't a road that continues north. It's just the woods, Denham Woods, that leads directly north. Look like the road just dead ends here at the logging camp.
Okay, what about a game trail?
Well, you see a lot of paths that lead out into the woods, probably from how the loggers go out. From the logging camp over towards the woods, there's probably a couple hundred yards of just tree stumps, and some paths. Some bushes are still here and there.
So I don't perceive any game trails heading north?
Give me a nature skill check. Alright, you look about and you eventually come across a game trail that leads north. Looks like it's goes deeper into the forest, kind of skirting along the forest or along the river.
Alright, we motion to the others to follow me. Have we entered the woods yet, under the canopy of the trees?
Yeah, it just takes you guys probably about 10 minutes or so, and you're finally back into the woods under the canopy of the trees.
Alright, I'm going to be checking the trees and rocks and stuff for druid signs, messages.
Okay. And while you're walking about, checking the trees along the way, what is Helmos and Ghost doing?
I'm just going to be keeping an eye out for any type of wild animals or orcs and something taking raids in this area.
Okay. What about you, Ghost? And while he's typing that out, Elmbreeze, you do come across some white looking berries at the base of one of the trees. You've heard them, or you know them to be called milk berries. That can also be an ingredient to make some healing poultices.
Gonna gather 'em.
Okay. Alright, and while you're doing that, you see Ghost. He's kind of staying low in the bushes and kind of staying in the shadows, kind of dodging back and forth, skirting across.
Okay. So we continue on up. I'm still looking for druid signs and messages and directions that they've left. Still following the game trail.
Okay. Alright. So you guys are traveling, going through, and you probably travel for at least another hour. You're deep in the woods at this point. The growth is really thick, so there's lots of cover. You see lots of different tracks out and about. Deer, you see some elk, you see some occasional wolf prints, lots of rabbit, but still no sign or message, Elmbreeze. Right.
Hey, Ghost said he'll walk back to camp.
Oh, I clicked on something in the chat and dragged it down by accident.
Sure.
Right.
What, Helmo?
I'm sorry?
No, I was just making fun of that.
Oh, gotcha.
Still continue north then. Okay. Still keep an eye on still staying on the game trail and keep an eye out for messages and clues. You still following Helmos? What?
Yep, still doing the same thing I was doing before.
About Ghosty?
All right. So you guys travel for some more time. Oh, looks like Ghost is finally going to say something.
Boo.
Boo? Okay. Alright.
I shake my head and it brings a smile to my face.
Okay, so Elm Breeze and Helmos, you continue along the trail. And after a couple minutes, you look around and you are having a hard time finding where a Ghost went.
First of all, we stop and I look around to see if there's a disturbance in nature.
As you stop and you're looking around, you do hear that all the bird sounds and chirping and whatnot that you normally hear, the entire woods has gone quiet.
I tell Helmos what I sense in there.
Alright, I'm just gonna look around me, see if I can see anything.
You're gonna look around for what? Just in
To see
general?
if I can see anything.
Okay, go ahead and give me a perception check. Alright, you're looking around and don't see anything.
That sounds about right.
Alright, what about, can I do a check against my ability of nature to see if I can pick up what went wrong?
You can go ahead and give me a perception check as well, to see if you perceive what might be going on.
I perceive I don't get to roll against my nature and where I get my bonus.
Yeah. And about that time, and how are you trying to get their attention, Ghost? Alright, Elm Breeze, about this time, as you're looking out and about, you look off towards the west into the woods, and where you guys are currently out, you're in to the west, it kind of slightly raises up into a small hill, and you look out probably about 100 yards to the west and to the south. You see Ghost over by a tree next to some bushes, and he starts waving, smiling, and you see him pointing up towards the north a little bit. And about that time, you follow his finger as you're looking over, and you see three dark-skinned humanoids with some bows and some axes on them, they kind of stand up behind some bushes looking over at Ghost direction, and you see them knocking some arrows, or one of them doing that, and you see two other ones are rushing, charging to meet up with Ghost with their axes in hand. I guess at this point...
I got a rush defending.
Okay.
Do I have initiative?
Actually, we're going to roll initiative, so everyone can get a turn, and we'll go along that. So everyone can roll initiative, which that's on the main page, next to your AC. There's a little box there, just double click that. Okay, and with that, the creatures get to go first. So two of them rush towards Ghost. They've closed about half the distance. Probably next turn they'll be on him. The other one lets loose an arrow at Ghost. See, your AC is 15 and they got a 15. So you take 6 points of damage as an arrow punches into your chest armor. Okay, and then that would bring us to Ghost. It's your turn. The two orcs that are charging at you are about 60 yards ahead of you. The other one is still at least 100 yards away. And your teammates are about 80 yards from you. Okay, so you're going to head that way. Are you doing anything else besides running, or are you just cautiously heading back that way, or what? And you go to drop ball bearings, and you remember you dropped them all last week in that dungeon where all those people died. Oops.
There ain't no armor out here to buy any more from.
I didn't see that you wanted to buy some at the beginning. You could have done so when you were in town. Alright, I'll let you have them. Alright, so you drop a bunch of ball bearings as they fall all along the fourth floor where you're at. Okay, Elmbreeze, your turn.
I'll cast a healing word on Ghost.
Okay. So, let's see here. Are we... hold on, that needs to be modified. Plus your spellcast modifier. Give me just a second here. Okay. So, how you do that is go into your actions, and then under healing word there, you should have a box that says 1d4 plus 3 underneath it for healing word. And just double click on that box.
I don't have that box. What I do, click on spell class ability, what?
No, go ahead. if you see healing word there, then go ahead and just click the magnifying glass to the right of it. That will probably pop open the...
Yeah, it does. It opens up 1d4 plus 3.
Yeah, just double click that. Alright, so you heal him for 5 points of damage. Okay. Are you doing anything else? You can also move if you want to.
Yes. How far am I from the guy with the bow?
The guy with the bow is about 100 yards away.
Can I throw a dagger?
Dagger, no, that's too far to throw.
Alright, then I continue running towards the guy with the bow.
You sure can. Okay. Alright, then that brings us to Helmos.
I'm going to try to get between the two guys with the axes and Ghost.
Okay. It's you run as far as you can here. Now, are you going to run flat out run, trying to make it as far as you can, or are you trying to cautiously run up to him?
This would be as fast as I can.
Okay. Alright, so you close the gap, and you're probably about 20 yards away from Ghost at this point. The two orcs that are bearing down on him are still about 30 yards out.
Okay.
Alright, so it's back to their turns. As you get closer, Helmos, and Ghost, you see that they are dark-skinned creatures. They stand well over 6 feet tall. They're pretty heavily built, wearing leathers, and you happen to notice they have some big tusks sticking out from the bottom of their jaws. Right, the two orcs, which you now know what they are, they're going to, one of them's going to run up and attack Ghost, the other one's going to run up and attack Helmos. The one on Ghost charges in, swings his axe, and he hits with a 19. And Ghost takes 6 points of damage as he strikes into your back, blood squirting out as he cuts through the leather. Right. The next orc runs up and attacks Helmos as he does a great swing from side to side. He hits an AC of 17, which that will hit you. And you take 5 points of damage, Helmos. Okay, and then the one with the bow, he doesn't perceive Elm Breeze running up on him, so he's going to let loose another arrow at Ghost. And that one missed, as an arrow streaks by and hits into a nearby tree as you're running by. Okay, Ghost, you're up. Okay. So that's 2d4 plus 2.